Carl?
Just certain sections, but also some sections in the opposite direction.
Yeah, so they're using the same forest. It's inevitable they're going to have some linkage with the previous track, but a very different feel to the track, a lot more flow, and the technical sections are welcomed by most of the riders. They do enjoy being challenged, and overall very favourable response by. That's the downhill course. We can see the people walking on there, some riders and fans walking down the downhill course. And this is the point where the two tracks do meet. We had the four cross last night, cross country day today, and downhill tomorrow.
I have to say the work that the course guys have done since the mud and the rain from last weekend is pretty amazing. They had to scrape the surface for the whole of the 5.5k lap.
What were they scraping the surface with shovels?
Pretty much by hand, by hand with shovels. They had huge work groups out there taking it all away. And the ruts were so deep, they were setting, and you can see by the surface when this stuff sets, it's like concrete, and the ruts were just
yes, 10 tram lines. They would have been taken
10-15 centimetres deep. They just have to scrape it all away.
Leaders shadowing each other there. That's Absalon and Schurter riding together. It's like winter never happened. We got the two form riders of 2010 sitting together, plate 1 and 2. And yes, it was really diabolical conditions here last week. In fact, the downhill got cancelled after the qualifier, and I've never seen a downhill get cancelled because of rain. It's usually lightning or hailstones or some other problem, but rain stopped play in the outdoor sport of mountain biking last week, so it gives you some idea of just how treacherous it was. And the cross country was held the day before, but in equally difficult conditions, but it just became way too much for the organisers of the national, and they had to cancel the event and take it on qualifying. So that's Yaroslav Kulhavi in the red, white and black of the Specialised Racing team going through in third place. And we'll look back now to see the world champion in the rainbow colours. There he is, Jose Hamida, riding for the Merida Multivan team. And he's looked comfortable in the top 5 all day, bridging gaps, losing a bit of time, but just not quite able to get up to the lead.
No, I think it's what we were talking about earlier in the day about the next 3 or 4 weeks is going to be important for some of these guys to go to the next rounds in Europe with a little bit better form, and I think you'd see Hamida riding at the front, I'm sure, with Schurter and Absalon in Offenburg and Dalby.
And some of these guys have been out in Africa for a long time now, more than a month, doing the Cape Epic and pre-season training, and now doing the World Cup. It's been in the national, so a lot of them have been out for a long time, and they'll be looking forward to getting back to their home tracks, their home road training, and getting into the rhythm of European spring or a North American spring, and regrouping for round 2. There's Manuel Fumik going through there with Barry Standard leading him through this time at 1 hour and 11. And it looks like Todd Wells that was going through there in the red and white. So it's starting to get a bit spread out now. I'm just trying to have a look through the results after lap number 4 to see if... well, I don't see Christoph Sauser. Maybe he's... Let's see. What, Todd Wells hasn't come through, actually. So that wasn't Todd Wells. Todd Wells has not come through, so he's had some sort of issue. Well, that's big news. Todd Wells, who was right up there in the top 10. Yes, so he's the next rider running. They've had 80 riders through and no Todd Wells. Well, that's bad luck for the American. He was doing extremely well. And I'm trying to see, I can't see Sauser's number plate in the first 50. I could be wrong. Let's have a look there. 120. Yeah, there he is. He's in 17th place, Christoph Sauser. So again, up towards Amphitheatre, we see that Julian Absalon is leading, as he has every lap up through this section. Having a look back there, putting in a bit of effort to see if he can shake Schurter. Schurter takes a sip from his bottle. They take the same line over the wooden ramp and down towards the descent in the amphitheatre. And you see the back of the Orbea kicking up there. The Orbea Alma that he's riding, plate number 2. And you see the line now being worn in by the women's race and the under-23 race. Very, very hard pack. Almost completely smooth in some places, being polished by the riders, hard packed by the riders, and so they're getting very, very fast runs through some of these sections, and it is resulting in a fast race. They won't be under the 1 hour 30 though. I think they'll comfortably get over 1 hour 30, but that's short by 2010 standards, and But I think it's quite a good decision. We shouldn't see too many changes. If they were to go for another lap, it wouldn't change too much. So it really comes down to these guys knowing they're coming around for the bell lap at the end of this lap. And what we can see Schurter trying to attack on the inside, on the climb and take the right-hander just at the top of this climb. But not pulling a gap, just taking the lead. A real cat and mouse race now between these two. Julian Absalon, turning 31 in August, and 6 years older than Nino Schurter, who's actually turning 25 next month in May. And changing the guard, often talked about between these two, but it really is quite equal with the two of them at the front of this race. Either one of them could win in the sprint, so we have seen Schurter much stronger than Absalon in the sprint. That will play on his mind. Schurter does out-sprint him, so he's got to be thinking about where is the best section for him, but the technical rocky descent heading down towards the finish does play into the hands of Nino Schurter. So between those two right now, my money would be on Nino Schurter. Just basically because of his technical proficiency and his strength in the sprint. He's a stocky rider and has a lot of power on hand when he needs it. We're watching the local boy, Barry Stander, sitting in 6th place. The place he's had for most of the race now. Look through his race record. He was up to 4th at one point, dropped down to 9th, and then sat steady in 6th. Both the leaders there just off the bars a little bit and just relaxing, taking their water bottles. They know they're coming around to pick up some new fluids in the tech zone, and just trying to have a look now. Nino Schurter has won 2 World Cups. Both of them were last year, round 1 and round 5, compared to Julian Absalon, who's had 22 wins. Today is the 23rd of April, and if he wins today, it will be his 23rd victory. So we'll wait and see if he managed to increase his lead as the all-time winner of cross-country World Cups. But once again, Schurter had the lead coming into this section. He's gone for the faster line, and he will make up even more time. This could be decisive. This could be decisive as we come around to the bell lap. Look at that, the distance, and it's rattled Absalon. It has absolutely rattled him because he knew that was happening. And you can see he lost focus just on the last rocket. He's lost even more time. So right now, this could be a very decisive and smart move by Nino Schurter. He got a gap coming into this section. He knew he was stronger through it, and he attacked, and that had a mental effect on the rider from France. So we'll see when we pick them up next just what sort of lead he's been able to do as we get into the quarry section. But we watch Jaroslav Kulhavy come through here now. So the last win by Julian Absalon was round 3 last year, and we had 6 rounds. So the second half of the season, no wins for Julian Absalon, and it looks like it could be a difficult day for him today as well if that gap has proven decisive. Jose Hamida looking quite smooth there. Switches the bike around nicely to the left. Perfect line. Very easy in the latter half of the race if you get very, very tired to hang on to the bike. As we switch now to a slow-mo, and you'll see as Nino Schurter, watch that perfect line, perfect position off the back of the seat there. Switches around. Well, he runs a little bit wide there, and the other guys are switching across to come onto the inside, our left-hand side, which is what Absalon does here. And you watch him get caught up. Is it a rear wheel? It's the front wheel gets into a little V there, and it just rattles him. Foot comes out straight away, almost predicting that was going to happen to himself. And he eases back onto the bike and continues on. So Barry Stander now tackling that ride. That does look to me like the faster line there on the right-hand side, but we did see a lot of women come undone in that section. As we now back over to the quarry. Back over to the quarry, you can see the spectator bridge above, which gives the riders, gives the fans a good chance to get and see all the different sections. 3 different lines through this part of the course, and now we pick up our leader, Nino Schurter. What's the gap? Well, it's already up to 7 seconds the gap now that I make. So he's got a decisive little break there. Now the challenge is for Absalon to try and bridge that. That means he's got to work harder on the penultimate lap. He's got to put out more energy to bridge that gap if he wants to have anything to say in the last lap of this race. And, well, the body language at the end of the quarry there looked defeated, but he's out and attacking. He's out and attacking. He knows he's got to bridge that gap to Schurter. 7 seconds it was by my reckoning, and you can probably watch it now with the clock on the screen. Let's see if we can pick them up, find a fixed point that you can watch, but it's 7 seconds. If it gets out to 10 seconds, that's pretty tough. All right, we just saw him go through there at 19 seconds at the tree. And let's see, 26 seconds means 7's gone past, 8, 9, a gap of 10 seconds, 10 to 11 seconds now between first and second place. So it was a decisive move as we come down into the bell lap for the final time, second final time under the bridge, but hitting the bell lap for the final lap. Nino Schurter's got to realise now that that was a very important break, a smart move coming around to the start finish. But he can see now that Julian Absalon, or we can see, he hasn't looked back yet, but we can see the gap is probably a lot, looks a lot less on this straight with the foreshortening of the camera angle. But we'll see if he's managed to pull back any of those 10 seconds that he had in the forest. Looks like he has a bit. He did attack a little bit well. It's only a second. It's only a second. 9 seconds difference between these two premier riders in the World Cup racing circuit of mountain biking, the Olympic cross country. These are the top guys in the world as they head on to the last time for this very steep climb. It almost goes straight up into the heavens from the feed zone. Very, very difficult climb, and they've only got to do this one more time, and then it's all done. This is their final time up that climb. They'll turn to the right, sweep across the forest, and then go down the rock garden. As we wait now for third place, Jaroslav Kulhavy. That's been a very decisive break for these two as we see the clock now tick over for Kulhavy, 40 seconds down on the lead. So Kulhavy, the body language there, the head bobbing around a little bit. I think he's starting to feel it with 1 lap to go. He's got to look out for fourth place. This is now our world champion, Jose Hamida for the Pietermaritzburg team, coming through with 1 lap to go, and we can see fifth place coming under the bridge. Still Marco Fontana, great ride by him if he can hang on to this for a podium, but he does have to worry about the local boy Barry Stander as the next rider back, and he wasn't that far back last time we saw. There he is now. We can see Barry Stander coming under the bridge. He can see a podium just in front, and it would mean a lot to the South African rider to stand on that podium in front of a very biased crowd, not biased, but very loyal crowd, and a partisan crowd, I think we would say. And well, Barry Stander's lost out in that battle because I thought he would be in that group, but he's not. So he's actually fallen back. So it's left Hareta coming through in 6th, chasing down the podium. This looks like Barry Stander's possible. So Barry Stander, well, it's almost like the wheels have fallen off the Specialized team because Todd Wells has gone out, and now Barry Stander's falling backwards in the field back to 9th place. So no podium there, but they still have Kulhavy sitting in 3rd place as we see the Spanish riders, Lech Hareta, and we see Stefan Tempier and Manuel Fumic riding very strongly in the top 10 all day, as high as 5th, as low as 10th, but now he's in 8th. And it looks like Barry Stander off the bike. Here we see our world champion drop down through the rock section.
Running that hill.
He does look calm. He's not overly exerted there. He does look calm.
And chasing hard. He's got 22 seconds on Kulhavy.
Yeah, he's looking good. Hasn't shaved for a few days. Maybe the moustache is on a comeback. It did bring him a lot of luck in the world champs. And 16, Marco Fontana. I thought he was spent earlier, but he's done very well to hang on to this particular position of 5th and look for a podium. So could it be that Nino Schurter goes to get his 3rd World Cup victory, putting him on the same level as the legend Henrik Jonas, who used to ride
to Absalon, number 22 now, Loretta. Also with them it is
Swiss Power team, Scott Swiss Power team. So there we have Barry Stander now, getting a lot of support from the locals, sitting in the top 10. Well, Todd Wells has come through now, so there was something with the timing. It could not be an issue with the timing chips, but he has come through now in 10th position, so they did find him in the timing. So he's come through in 10th with Maxime Murat in 11th, and it looks like Halona in 12th. Christoph Sauser now into 13th. Well, that's impressive. He's picked up a lot of rides. He was far back as 35th, and he's now up to 13th position. Martin Gougen coming through for Switzerland in 14th, Matthias Flukiger in 15th, Ivan Alvarez in 16th, and Patrick Alati in 17th. Kabush up to 18th, Lucas Flukiger in 19th, and Matt Dicton of Spain in 20th. Ralph Knapp has come through now in 21st. If you're wondering where he is, he's dropped back from 8th on the first lap, but has been holding steady around 21st and 22nd.
Number 2, Julian Absalon in the Orbea.
And it looks like the fire's gone out in Thomas Litcher. He had moved up to 15th, but now he's outside the top 20. And Florian Vogel also outside the top 20. So 1 hour 23 has elapsed. We're on the final lap of the Men's World Cup Round 1 here in Pietermaritzburg, South Africa. And it's been a pretty dominating show of force by Nino Schurter and Julian Absalon. And just now we've seen Nino Schurter make the break at the end of lap number 5, where he took